Hello, hello, hello. I hope all is well with you. My name is Lahoma, and for this assignment, I created a game, a communication game for Black people, Black couples, families overall, to help with conflict resolution, and it's called Speak Life. So, communication between Black men and Black women has been shaped by history, culture, society for a long time. And for years now, Black people, black couples specifically, has had a hard time in regards to maintaining relationships and having healthy relationships. And I feel like there are plenty factors that come into play with that, individually, culturally, systematically, but specifically, I feel like society plays a major part, and society as in their expectations and biases that they've put onto Black men and Black women. So to point some things out specifically, societal stereotypes like being the strong Black woman has led plenty of Black women to suppressing their emotions, therefore not communicating their emotions clearly, not communicating when they need help, not communicating when they need support. And that doesn't just affect them, but it also affects their partners. And then on the other side of that, Black men have experienced a bunch of societal pressures in regards to emotional vulnerability. Like, society pushes men, especially Black men, to be strong and be tough, which can also, contribute to the lack of communication within their partnerships and just overall connections in general. So this is why I created the game called Speak Life. And the purpose of this game is to basically provide a more structured and heart-centered way for us Black individuals to communicate with each other and resolve conflicts in a healthier way, because if you're ever communicating with somebody and you feel yourself getting riled up emotionally and you're really into it, there's care there. So it's really important to communicate with care, and that is the purpose of this game. Okay, we're gonna get into it. Okay, so getting started into the game, we'll start off with a meditative breath, right? And so as you take this breath, you will remind yourself that you are here because you care, and you are here to speak and listen with care. So we're going to set a strong foundation already, because you're here for a reason. If you have the conflict resolution cards, you're here for a reason, So we're going to set that intention to be present and here and care and love, right? Then we will have a speaker card, and we will have a listener's card. So if you're speaking, you will have the speaker card, and if you're listening, you will have the listener's card. Now, for the speaker card, this is my little rough draft, right? You can't really see it. I'm just reading it to you. So for the speaker card, it would say something like, tread lightly and take your time. You can't take back what you say. Or it'll have things like use I statements. So it'll have like some affirmations or just some pointers in regards to being a good speaker, right? And then for our listener's card, it'll say listen with care. Ensure that you are understanding and ask clarifying questions. So it will have, little points and affirmations in regards to being a good listener. So it's just like reminders in the moment where to help guide the conversation. So throughout the game, you will switch these cards back and forth. So I will have 4 other decks, which I will be introducing in the next clip. But as for the listener's card and the speaker's card, you guys will switch them back and forth. And if you're the speaker, you should be speaking. If you're the listener, you should be listening. And that's it. So now we have our 4 decks of cards, which consists of, firstly, our foundation cards. So our foundation cards is what just keeps the conversation, what just starts the conversation off after our breath with a bit more grounding and a bit more understanding. And it's kind of like setting the ground rules and setting the tone for each other so y'all can understand each other a little bit better, right? So our foundational cards will consist of questions like this. What things keep you grounded in the midst of conflict? So that would be like one card that you may pick up. Another card could possibly be, what do you value most in a speaker and a listener? Right? So those are foundational cards. We'll have that there. Okay, then we have our conflict cards, which are to help guide the resolutions, right? So our conflict cards will consist of questions like, what needs, wants, or expectations were unmet? What would a better way to communicate this have looked like for you? And what feelings are coming up besides anger, fear, and I can't read my hand right, and sadness, right? And with that question, it will like for sure have a color wheel, the emotion wheel on the question. So, you can see more language, or possibly even better language, better emotional language when it comes to expressing yourself. Okay, then last but not least, it's not last either. We have our reconnection cards. So our reconnection cards are basically to just, bridge back the softness, come back into the space, and reconnect pretty much after, a little pivot, a little back and forth maybe, right? They consist of questions like, can I touch you? And that means like a hug, bring back intimacy into the space. What are we rebuilding toward? And what part of this connection feels worth fighting for? Yeah, those are some good questions. Then finally, we'll have some food for thought cards that are kind of just spread throughout the deck. And it's just like little small spurts of wisdom and like reminders for while they're communicating with each other. So while you're within conflict or resolving conflict or whatever, you may pull a card that reminds you that words cannot be taken back, changed, or undone. So say something like that. Or it'll say, check your body language. It's the loudest, just to remind people about your body language and how that's the first thing we hear. And yeah, okay. So this game is just not about fixing everything in one sitting. It's just a way to expand your emotional language, and a way to intentionally choose to communicate better with the people that you care about. So I would personally want this game to not just be for couples and relationships, but also parents and their children. Maybe you can like add them in schools, brother and sister, like just connections where you feel like there is a lack of communication and lack of understanding between one another. And yeah, hopefully it can help.